I just realized that I haven't done any kind of dedicated advice how-to video on my channel before, and probably for good reason. This video is probably gonna crash and burn, but I think this is a great time than ever to talk about the fact that not everyone wants to, or can, or even should pay $1,000 for a new top-tier phone. It just doesn't make sense to me. And this topic has been roiling around in my mind for some time now, and I hope the tips that we'll be talking about today in this episode will help steer you towards, buku savings and more cash left over to invest or something, or save up for a really nice vacation. Your family will thank you for it. So this video is dedicated to those of you who want the best phones, but the very thought of spending $1,000 or more before tax even leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and also a major case of indigestion. So if you're curious, let's find out after these messages. But first, a little disclaimer of sorts before we start. I'm by no means an expert in the matter. When it comes to money and number crunching, that's my wife's territory. But my wife and I, we spend a lot of time each year. We sit down planning our finances, like trying to be wise and socially responsible in what we spend on or who we give our money to. And so I've learned a lot over the years because of that. And also personally, I didn't grow up with lots of money. My dad was a preacher, so you know how that goes. But the majority of the things that I wanted as a kid all the way up to high school were done the hard way. It was saved up with leftover lunch money and lots of chores, part-time jobs and such. And then when I started getting into hobbies that could potentially get expensive, I had to start figuring out the balance where I could still enjoy the hobby without having to buy brand new stuff and going broke at the same time, while getting good to great gear without cheaping out. Which kind of sort of brings us to today's topic. The art of buying electronics you want without having to sell your kidneys for. And of course, I know there are many factors that I cannot even dare to cover, like for example, how COVID and now the war has caused used prices to go up like crazy. But I'm going to share with you, regardless of the time of year or whatever is going on in your life, the websites and the processes that I use to find good deals. And a lot of them, you already know what they are, but I'm going to talk through them anyway. And like I said, this is my first full-on advice video, so I might be already crashing and burning even as we speak. With that being said, we wouldn't necessarily be having this conversation if smartphones weren't so bloody freaking expensive to begin with. You've seen this. I mean, if you're looking or shopping for a phone in 2022 for a top-of-the-line device, you can expect $1,000 or more easily, right? When did this all become normal? I guess if you think about it, the iPhone X started it all, mainstream-wise anyway. And the marketing behind it that made everyone think that they needed a $1,000 phone, otherwise they won't feel good about themselves or be the coolest desperate housewife on the block or something. Now, if you have to buy new, and what I mean by this is unused, not like hot off the press kind of new, then I suggest holding out on that instant gratification piece and waiting a few months or even a year after the launch of the model you're eyeing. And the chances are you'll start seeing a buttload of discounts and deals and sellers wanting to offload their inventory before the latest ones or the newest one comes out, especially around Black Friday or Cyber Monday. On the other hand, if you're open to the used market, then man, the options available to you increase like tenfold. I'm not even kidding. And this is also where it gets really exciting, guys. Anyway, first of all is the infamous eBay. And I've personally gotten a few Samsung, Sony Xperia's, Motorola's, tablets, and even this very same computer on the website. But once you're in used territory, guys, you're really playing with the unknown. And I don't mean this in a bad way, you just had to be careful. Even from reputable sellers on eBay. And personally, if I'm searching, if you can, filter in private sellers with at least a few sales under their belt. They tend to be more negotiable and cheaper, in fact. And maybe even find some big box stores like Best Buy who use eBay to dump some of their open box gear. Growing up in Asia, we like to haggle, so look for or use the filter best offers where you can throw in a price and see if the seller takes it. Just don't lowball, guys, that's never a good idea. And also in general, read the product description in detail and also the condition section very carefully and ask questions whenever in doubt. And because if you just piecemeal read the listings, you might end up with a phone that doesn't work in your area or is locked to a service provider, like if you buy an AT&T phone to use on Verizon, or it could be just a parts-only device. Now, the Q&A tool on eBay isn't my favorite. That honor goes to, well, you're gonna have to watch the rest of the video to find out. For the context of this video, I'm gonna be searching for a couple of phones, the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Let's look at the prices here. And one thing, I'm really glad that eBay has improved their filtering so much. You can really get down granular and detailed if you like to. You can find so much things, and I suggest you use it. It's really a powerful tool. And I also tend to stay away from sellers. If I'm in the US, for example, buying from overseas like Hong Kong or China, that tends to be a little bit more iffy, and shipping might take a much longer time than you might think. And also getting, returns done is a whole pain in the butt all in itself. Anyways, here's a couple of examples I found. Like, this is from a reputable seller for a Pro Max with 128 gigs. The description says a few scratches and everything, but they're very descriptive. The return policy is good. And here is where I was talking about. You can contact the seller right here on the bottom right, and you go to this page where there's pre-answered questions if you already have questions that they might have already answered. And also you can directly contact the seller if you want to. Now, this is an example of a private seller, and I was looking at this listing yesterday, and I'm glad that they sold it, but this is kind of sort of the ads that I tend to am a little bit more cautious. The pictures are all dark and the shadows everywhere, and they say, oh, it's lightly used, but I can't even see any scratches or anything. So, I like more pictures, a little bit more description. That down here, that's all they wrote. So it's kind of pathetic. So if you're a seller, please write more. And also, it looks like they haven't vacuumed their carpet in a while. Anyways, congratulations to them for selling it. But I want to show you this ad. This is the kind that you want to be cautious about and ask a lot of questions. Believe it or not, Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, as it's really popular here in Maine. Back when I was living in Bay Area, San Francisco, Craigslist was it. But both of these are fantastic for local stuff, guys. But also at the same time, these tend to be riskier if you don't know how to spot an iffy ad or seller. But personally, I've had great experiences. I bought both of my Pixel 2 XLs like new from two random strangers. Both great experiences in both cases. We met in parking lots, found out that we had lots of things in common, then went out for some coffee, and eventually became bocce ball partners. True story. But I want to show you this Facebook Marketplace right here. This is in Maine. And here's a search bar. It's not as powerful as Craigslist or eBay, but say if I want to search for an iPhone 12 Pro Max, I can't even type, there you go. And this is what you get. And I found, for example, once you filter down to here's the one that I like, is local pickup, because if you leave it at all, it ships from everywhere, sometimes from even China, Hong Kong, and eBay. So it's kind of, pointless. So I tend to turn on local pickup and expand my filter range to how many 100 miles or whatever, however far you want to drive. But this is one listing that I found, for example, of this person selling, say, S21 Ultra 128 gigs, 750 bucks. They just dropped it from 800, and this is where it's really awesome. And like Craigslist, you can watch or save people's ads, and if they don't sell it, they're probably gonna drop the price really quick. And yeah, the condition on this one is great. You can see it says pristine condition. They put it in a case all the time, and it's really nice. I really like it. But looking at this picture is kind of makes me wondering. But look at the top here. She says she wrote jammies, pants, $10 bill. Is she trying to run away from home or something? Somebody call 911. Yeah, she needs help. Moving over to Craigslist, and this is the San Francisco Bay Area page, and I'm going to be searching for the same thing, Samsung S21 Ultra. And the cool thing is, if you live in a big city, or if you're near a big city and don't mind commuting to some of these sellers, you're gonna have lots and lots of options. And just like Facebook, if you find a seller that you like, you can save them or contact them directly. Look at this, 650 bucks for an Ultra, compared to what? Twice the price for an S22 Ultra, 256 gigs. Look at this. This is a great deal. And this is one thing I like about Craigslist. If you are in a big city, the prices tend to be very, very competitive. All right, a quick pause for a second. I want to talk about refurbished phones as another great option. So if you don't want to buy used and deal with a private seller and never knowing what you're going to get in that kind of situation, then refurbished phones are a great alternative. eBay does it, Amazon does it, but I tend to go to Amazon because especially they have a great return policy. So if you don't get a good phone, just return it. And one thing that I always look for is factory refreshed or factory renewed products. because otherwise you're not even 100% sure what kind of so-called refurbished that was done to the phone. So yeah, keep an eye out for those kind of things on eBay. Some other sites do it too, but I tend to stay on Amazon. And last but not least, since its inception, my go-to place has been Swappa. You might as well bookmark it right now. Its focus was and still is primarily on phones, and because of Swappa's vetting process, it's really hard to find a misrepresented listing. And here's their homepage, no junks, no jerks. It's kind of a guarantee right there. But now let's look at a search right here. I've already searched for an iPhone 12 Pro Max and later on Samsung. I'll show you that too. And here is how it looks like. The left side is where you can filter by listings and change your carrier. There's unlocked to section if you want this unlocked. And down here at the bottom, you see what's been sold, and you can see what the best prices so far and what kind of condition. Look at this one, 680 bucks for 128 gig in good condition. And by the way, just because the listing doesn't say mint, you can see a mint one right here, and some of these say fair, doesn't mean it's not like new. And so here's a little PSA or a little tip. Don't ignore the good condition ones, especially from private sellers. So for example, let me show you, is it this one? No, not this one. Samsung Galaxy right here. Look at this. I ordered this from Google and they say they've slapped on a case and a lens protector. And this is really what most sellers do here, private sellers, which they basically essentially keep their phones in almost original condition, but is listed as good. So, you know, you can get a cheaper price, and look at it, 670 bucks. That's just awesome. That's just crazy. And sure, you know, some of them, there's the old trick of hiding cracks and scratches under cases or skins. But again, with Swappa, the vetting policy that they have where sellers are required to disclose all those details and photographs before the listing is approved is pretty darn solid. And I've so far had really positive experiences buying on Swappa as well. So how do we sum this up? The moral of the story is, I guess, don't get suckered into buying the most expensive phones just because Samsung or OnePlus or Apple say you should, and buy something brand new from the catalog right now, especially even under contract, and sell your soul for it. That's never a good idea. And the fact is, all you have to do, guys, is wait, be patient, and possess the common sense of a monkey, because, you know, humans have no common sense. And you'll potentially get what you want and save lots of cash while doing it. All you have to do is really let someone else deal with the depreciation of buying brand new, and then you swoop in and enjoy the benefits. Yes. So guys, thank you so much for watching this. That's all I got. If you found this the least bit, you know, helpful, subscribe to this channel and thumbs up if you like this video, and also comment nicely down below. This is my first video doing this kind of thing, so be gentle, be nice, and also remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, because guess what? The world needs it more than ever. And it starts with you. Don't forget to support the Ukrainians and pray for them. They need all the help we can get right now. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.